Parshas Vayakhel. There's a story that I once heard about a Melamed, a teacher, big Talmud Chacham, who wanted to change his position, his job. So he went to give a She'ur L'Dugma. He went to give a prova, we call that in Yiddish, to see about getting a new position. He had to show them that he knows how to teach. And he was very confident that he's going to get this job. And he came to the She'ur L'Dugma, and the principal came in and observed him teaching and sat in back of the room. And after he finished his She'ur L'Dugma, the principal told him, "I'm very sorry that I can't hire you, because I can't hire you." So the Melamed said, "How could it be? I have 30 years of experience." He says, "Yeah, for 30 years you were teaching incorrectly. Incorrectly for 30 years. And the question is, how could that really be? 30 years experience is... why didn't he get the job? What does it mean he was teaching incorrectly?" The answer to understand this better might be in a Even Ezra in Parshas Vayakhel, our parsha. It says in the pasuk that regarding Bezalel, who was the architect of the Mishkan, it says in the pasuk is Shmois Lamed Hey, pasuk Lamed Aleph, and pasuk Lamed Dalet. It says Vayamale Oisei Ruach Elokim. And the Even Ezra explains that Hashem testifies, Hashem Hayid, Kihu Mole Chachma Utvina V'das, that his wisdom was incredible. And then in pasuk Lamed Dalet, the Even Ezra comes along and tells us, it says in the pasuk, Ulahoyreis Nosan Beliboy. Hashem gave him the ability to teach. That's simple translation of the pasuk. Ulahoyreis Nosan Beliboy, to teach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him, put in his heart, the ability to teach. And the Even Ezra explains, Ki yesh chachamim rabim shehem koshim lahoyreis acherim. There are many wise people that is difficult for them to teach others, to reach others, to communicate with others. It seems that the Even Ezra is saying that with all Bezalel's wisdom, that Hashem testified that he filled Molei B'Chochma, that he was Molei B'Chochma B'Tunu V'das, even though he was so brilliant and understood everything so much, that it's still possible that he will not know how to communicate with others. And Bezalel had this additional, besides all the wisdom, he had this additional talent and Chochma Miyuchedes, a special wisdom of being able to teach and communicate with other people. This talent of teaching others is something that applies to each and every one of us. Because our chiyuv, our obligation, what is our obligation on earth? In serving Hashem, what is our obligation? I heard this many times from the great Goyin, Reb Henoch Leibowitz, Zecher Tzaddik V'Kodesh Livrocha, that our obligation is lilmaid ulalamed, to learn and to impart it to others, to teach others. And in fact, he said that the high point of the Shleimus Ha'adam, of the person's completeness, the high point is the Lalamed aspect, to teach others. And I have observed the great master pedagogue that Reb Henoch Leibowitz was, that he was able to explain something so clearly. He was able to, first of all, the chituch hadibur, first of all, the way he spoke, every word was so clear. The way he thought, every thought was so clear. Every thought was so clear, and one thought followed the next thought, and it fit in like a glove. He taught us how to think, taught us how to speak. Not that he gave a speech course, but just sitting by him and hearing his way that he would explain things imparted a tremendous talent that he had. He imparted that to all his Talmidim. Not that he was giving a speech course, but just sitting by him and listening the way he explained things and thought about things, and the thoughts, each thought followed the next thought. And the primary thing that I think that made him the great pedagogue that he was the fact that when he explained the most difficult things, he was always on the alert to see how the recipient is receiving it. At one time, he was explaining a very, very difficult concept, and he saw, this is what I observed, he saw that the student was not comprehending the depth of it, and he started to speak slower, and he made it as if he barely understood it. He was able to see, since the student could not comprehend it, he was making it seem as if it's difficult for him to comprehend. And that could be a great secret in the ability of Lalamed to see how what you are saying, how it's being received, and how the recipient is receiving it. It's no wonder that it's probably the only yeshiva in the world, Yeshiva Chavetz Chaim, that maybe 90% of the Talmidim that graduate the yeshiva, that go into the world, go into chinuch. They go into chinuch because they feel first of all, they have the know-how, and besides knowing the obligation of Lamed, but they have the know-how how to reach others. And that's why there's such a great percentage of the Talmidei Yeshiva Chavetz Chaim, of the Talmidim of this great Goin, that are going into Habratzas Torah and reaching so many people. I think he created 17 branches of the yeshiva. Which yeshiva has 17 branches? It's because they have that talent of the Lamed, besides the Hashkafa, the Torah outlook of knowing that the obligation of the person is to not only to learn, but to go out and to love its Torah. As I speak now, I remind myself that his father, Reb David Leibowitz, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, had already left the yeshiva and became very successful. He was in a city somewhere that he was in charge even of the banks in that city where he was, and they called upon him from Slobodka to return to the Kollel. And he says, he answered two things. First of all, I have to go ask my wife if she wants to go back to the Kollel. Second of all, I'll only come back on one condition, that it should be a Zman Mugbal. It should be a designated time. To sit and learn all your life, all his life, he didn't think was proper, because the Lalamed is the high point of the Shlemus HaAdam, that we have to go out and do for others, and teach others, and do chesed for others, and we have to be Lalamed. That's the high point. So if you will have a kailo that will have a designated time, a limit, then I would consider going back, and I think he did go back. Eibishter should help us. We should be zeicha to be lilmay, to learn Torah and the lamed, and to reach the highest point of shleimus by the lamed, by teaching others and doing for others. We should be zeicha to this. Amen v'amen.